Alright guys, bear with us for a few minutes. Per the usual, we're going to troubleshoot this real quick and get started. Market is hot right now, so I'm looking forward to this live stream. Alright, here we go. Volume test. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. How's it sound, Alan? Test 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Test 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and kick this off live. What's going on? My name is Creighton Piper. There is a lot going on in the market right now. Holy crap. I don't know if you guys have been following this up to the minute like I have, but we just hit 58.75. Then we sold off into the 5600s. Now we're all the way back up to 57.65. And there's so much volatility going on right now. It is unreal. Look at our 24-hour volume, 1.1 billion US dollars. Trade volume for Bitcoin already. I'm pretty sure that's an all-time record. The record before was just over 1 billion. I'm pretty sure we've already surpassed it for today. Absolutely insane. Litecoin has been trading pretty much in line with Bitcoin. It was outpacing it earlier in the day. It was up almost 19%. Now it's down. It's 15% still. Pretty solid. Now Bitcoin is up almost 19%. Pretty insane. I'm going to be tracking messages on my phone per usual. Go ahead, hit us up if you have anything to ask. We're not really going to be covering any news on this live stream because there's not much to talk about. What there is to talk about is Bitcoin. So we're just going to do some live technical analysis. And then if there's any coin that you want covered specifically, please let me know. And then I'll be sure to cover it. So without any further ado, here we go. Let's look at Bitcoin first of all. See if there's any messages in 1 sec. All right, so first of all, here is the Bitcoin one-day chart. This spans about a year here. So there's a couple things that are driving. Hey Tran, what's up, dude? Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you with us tonight. Um, so, all right, like I said, there are two things driving the insane price volatility that we're seeing in Bitcoin right now. First and foremost, Bitcoin Gold, right? Everybody wants it. Everybody wants to take advantage of that airdrop once it forks on the 25th of October. So people are buying it up because they think there's a pot of gold, free money sitting at the end of the rainbow there. And that may be the case. I think it will. And I have very, very high hopes for Bitcoin Gold. If you haven't already, I wrote an article about it at cryptoanswers.net. It's one of our most recent. I'll go ahead and pull that up. We talk about a lot of the pros and cons of Bitcoin Gold. There's a lot more pros, so definitely went deep into the pros and just some background there. But I have some high hopes for Bitcoin Gold, and so does everyone else apparently. And it's driving up the price. Everyone wants to get their hands on it the day of. So, anyways, number two, the second catalyst. Trey John, he asked, why is it going so high? I'm explaining that right now. First and foremost, I already talked about Bitcoin Gold. It's about to fork, and everyone wants to get their hands on it, right? Number two, we are nearing the end of an absolutely epic Elliott wave. And here, let me go ahead and draw that out for you. An Elliott wave is basically a 5-wave cycle that culminates in a massive, massive pullback. I thought we had just started to see the beginning of it because we dropped precipitously from 5850 down into the 5600s, but it looks like we have recovered and we're stabilizing. Oh, we're back down into the 5600s. All right. Well, anyways, switching over to my Coinbase here. I just sold all my Bitcoin. I sold it like right at the peak there. So at this point, I'm kind of hoping that it falls. I mean, I have a lot of close friends that still are holding on to Bitcoin. My brother is trying to figure out how he can dump his. So I hope everyone that I'm close to is able to sell if it does end up going down. But this could just be a pullback. I mean, we've seen many pullbacks over the past couple of days. I mean, this was kind of scary right here. This was questionable, but then it was followed by this. So this could very well just be a pullback. I mean, this was a meteoric rise right here. I mean, in just a couple of hours, we went from 5,400 to almost 5,600. Are you kidding me? That is unreal. So that's not even healthy. So this could very well be a pullback, or it could be a beginning of the backside of this Elliott wave, as I was beginning to describe it. So what an Elliott wave is basically, it's a trend that happens a lot in markets on micro scales and on macro scales. Right now we're looking at a Bitcoin macro trend because this is over the course of months on end. But what we're seeing here is wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we are approaching the end of wave 5 here, and generally after this massive bull market, we will experience a bear market. There will be a sell-off, probably 40% or so, could be up to 50%. And what that'll look like is we'll start to pull back here. Then there will be sort of like a false bull run, and a lot of people will get bitten there, and then it's going to just fall down to, I don't know where the support's going to be. I would guess somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000. But I mean, that's quite a big span there, but I don't even know at this point. Really, anything could happen. We could run up to 6,000. We could run up to 7,000 before that even happens. I don't know. But I started getting nervous, and I just wanted to lock in my gains, so that's why I sold my Bitcoin. We're still selling off, guys. We are still selling off. 56.40 and falling. I don't know. I wish we could have gone live earlier because I was just sitting here like texting my friends, texting my brother. Every couple minutes, we were spiking up, $20, up $20, up another 20, up another 50, and then it just stopped moving at about 58.75 or so, and that's when I was like, oh, this doesn't even feel right. I think we went up too fast. There's going to be a pullback, and then sure enough, here we are. We're down $200 since I sold it. So Anyways, back to the analysis. So we talked about the LA wave, we talked about Bitcoin Gold. As far as I know, that's the only thing really driving this absolutely insane price action. I haven't checked the news lately. Let's see if there's an article I'm missing. Jamie Dimon says he's done talking about Bitcoin. Smart, good man. You should probably keep your mouth shut because since Bitcoin's doubled the price since it reached the bottom after his commentary before. So pretty much a slap in the face to Jamie Dimon there. But so yeah, what I'm looking for anyone who's tuned in right now is toss out a coin. It can be an altcoin, anything you want covered. I'll pull it up if it's available on TradingView, and I'll cover it. I'll try to find some trends to talk about, and then give you my take on whether I see a bearish or bullish future for whatever currency you want me to talk about. Right now, so what we're seeing right now is this massive run up in Bitcoin and a massive run up in Litecoin, right? They're both up 14-15% today. Everything else is selling off massively, or it has been up till now. What we're going to see happen is as Bitcoin starts to pull back, if this is actually a pullback and not just a small correction, as Bitcoin pulls back, everyone's going to start selling that off and then distributing the funds into the altcoins that have been crashing like crazy over the past week or so. Some of the hottest coins out there are at recent lows. Like let's take a look at 10x here for a sec. 197. That is an attractive price there for 10x. Look at that. We're near the recent low for 10x. Even when Bitcoin was down at 3,000 because of China and the ICO bans and Jamie Dimon's doing his thing, whatever. We're almost back down to that level for 10x, and it's artificial. It's only because everyone has been pouring their money into Bitcoin. So I'm gonna be honestly, what I should be doing now is probably working some of my money into 10x, into IOTA, into maybe Ripple. I'm very bullish on Ripple, but it has run up recently. I was hoping it would pull back to 20 cents, and then it would be time to get in. What else am I looking at? Maybe some Civic. Ooh, it's below 30 cents now. Civic is looking ripe. You know what? Let's do some technical analysis on Civic. All right, Train John. All right, we'll put Civic on pause. Train John wants some analysis on XRP. Let's pull that up. XRP USD. All right, let's look at the 1 hour chart. See what we can find there. All right, let's stretch this out to, yeah, this is a pretty good point right here. So we're looking back about a month here. It's October the 12th. We're looking back to the 11th, 12th of September here. All right. So, all right, this could be a possible head and shoulders developing. If anyone's familiar with that, that is a very bearish sign, and usually there's going to be a significant pullback. What just happened? If this does end up becoming a head and shoulders here, then probably see a pretty sizable pullback in Ripple. I hope we do because I want to get in, but not at 24 or 25 cents. So there we go. Head and shoulders basically represents absolute exhaustion of buyer sentiment, and it's just an indication that this market is going to shift and turn into a seller's market. I'm not really convinced at this point that that's what is going to happen here. We can very well hold this level. There is going to be some resistance there because we already bounced off of it once here, and we held it here before this bullish run over that day or two. So if we do hold this mark and go higher, that is definitely a possibility. And then who knows? There is some interesting news on about to make headlines on Ripple. They have that Swell convention coming up. That's going to be any day now. I forget the date. It's soon. October 16 to 18. All right, so that's just a few days in the future. This is going to be a pretty big deal for Swell. It's going to be attended by, here's a headliner, Ben Bernanke, the ex-Federal Reserve chairman. There you go, Ben Bernanke and Tim Berners, inventor of the World Wide Web. Whew. Yeah, this is definitely something to watch. That's going to develop into some pretty interesting news. Also, the Ripple network just surpassed 100 users. So adoption is real with Ripple. I'm still very, very, very bullish long term. This is one of my top 3 altcoin picks. I've talked about it quite a bit. Maybe short term though, this could turn bearish. I don't know. We'll continue to watch this through the rest of the live stream. Tran, I'm glad you brought that up because that is interesting. And you also want to see EMC2. All right, let's do that next. I'm going to go ahead and leave this chart up because we'll revisit it. Bear with me one moment while I pull this up. EMC2 USD. All right, I'm not too familiar with Einsteinium. I haven't looked into it at all. I would guess that, how long has Einsteinium even been out there? All right, looks like dates back to July. Anyways, all right, this is interesting. This is an interesting graph here. So this was that was a pretty steep bullish channel there, but it looks like we have just busted out of it. So that's good. We have this triangle formation here. Volatility is getting lower and lower and lower, and I don't know, man. Who knows where we could go from there? We're just gonna have to kind of wait. I mean, although this triangle has pretty much narrowed to its tip here. By triangle, I mean if you draw a line here. Let me just draw that. I mean, we're pretty much at the tip of this triangle, so it's gotta break out here pretty soon. But we are in the middle of this bullish trend here. So I don't know anything about Einsteinium, any of the news. I don't know what could be driving this price action, but I pretty much want to say that anything can happen at this point. Yeah, I don't know enough about it to really comment beyond that. All right, let's go back to our comments, see what else. Stratus. All right, Shinadu Oboito. I hope I'm saying that right. I hope I'm not butchering it. Who wants to see some coverage on Stratus? What's the identifier for that? Strat. All right. I don't know if TradingView will have. Oops. Yeah, Strat USD. There you go. Sweet. Check it out. Ooh. Oh my goodness. This is whoa. All right. Okay. All right. Cool. So here we go. Let's go back to our trusty triangle formation here. Oops. All right. So here we're looking at basically a descending triangle. So here we're reaching a pretty much an all-time low, and like I've drawn out for you here, we're in this descending triangle. Obviously, this is pretty bearish at this point, but I would expect there to definitely be some support at as we get down to around 275-ish, maybe 250. All right, I want to say we're not going to fall much further than 250, although we already have established support here at $3. Yeah, you could very well see a breakout here. It just depends on what happens. This is a pretty crucial moment for Stratus. Again, I haven't been following Stratus very closely. I don't know anything about the news developments or what's going on, but if we do see this this point hold here again, then you might actually see it break out to the north, and then who knows what could happen. All right, what else we have here? Have you spoken about Verge yet? No, but I would like to. Good call. Let's see. What is that? XVG? XVG USD. All right, let's see what we got here. Ooh, I like this. Okay, so in regards to Bitcoin, let's just check the live price here real quick. All right, so we're holding the 5600s pretty strong there. Not where's my? All right, I lost my other Bitcoin chart. Anyways, all right, so we were talking about Bitcoin earlier, and this right here, this Elliott wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I was talking about how we're probably going to see a pretty bearish pullback on the backside, and that's going to be just a few days around the corner. It could correspond very, very closely to the Bitcoin Gold hard fork, and I anticipate that it will. But take a look at this Verge chart. We're seeing the exact opposite price action. We're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's an Elliott wave. It's just a reversal. It's like a negative Elliott wave. So I mean, there's a pretty good chance that we're going to see a pullback here. Usually you do. That's why I'm so bearish on Bitcoin in the medium term, because we're begging for a pullback. The whole principle of the Elliott wave basically says that it has to happen. I mean, it's very, very, very common. Once you establish the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 price swings, the ABC pullback is there's a very, very high percentage that that's going to happen. Now, there's a good chance that we're going to see a pretty strong pullback in Verge here, and all right, one. I'm going to try to give you an estimate on what you could expect. Now, this may or may not happen. We are looking at kind of a micro trend here, as opposed to the macro trend that we're seeing in Bitcoin. But if this does end up being a reverse Elliott wave, like I think it's developing into, we could probably fall a little bit further, maybe down to. We might even. I wouldn't be surprised if we fell down to 0.003, somewhere around in here. Wouldn't be surprised. But I think we're going to see a pretty strong uptick after that, because I do think it's going to hold to the Elliott wave principle there. You'll probably see about a 40. Actually, you know what? All right. The more I think about it, I mean, Verge is a pretty solid coin, and as we see capital outflow out of Bitcoin here, well, it's back up to 5,700. Eventually, Bitcoin is going to pull back. All right, it's just around the corner. If not before the Bitcoin Gold hard fork, it's going to happen within a few days of it. When that happens, people are going to start distributing their money to the altcoins, and Verge ranks up there. It's one of the better altcoins. Really all we're doing here is providing an attractive buy-in price for Verge. So if we get down to this level, that's going to be oof. I'm glad you brought this up, because I'm going to keep my eye on this. And 0.003, that's going to be my buy target now. I think we're going to see about a 40% pullback. From here to here, we should be able to see a 40% pullback. So 0.003, 0.008, we're talking 0.0045 maybe. So if we fall to here, we should retrace back up to, I don't know, probably somewhere in here. Call it 0.006. I can definitely see that happening. It just depends on what happens with Bitcoin in the near term, and how much capital is going to flow into these altcoins, namely Verge. All right, getting behind here on questions. I apologize, but I'm trying to cover everything. Have you spoken about Verge yet? All right, yeah, just cover that. What's the one altcoin you would recommend to buy around 22, 23, which would bounce back after Bitcoin Gold? So I kind of lightly touched on this. I really like Ripple in the long term. I don't know what it's really going to do near term. I think a lot of that's going to hinge on the outcome of the Swell convention, Also, there has been some negative headlines revolving around Korea. They're talking about suppressing ICOs and stuff like that. So I think that has been suppressing the price of Ripple a little bit because the Koreans are, for whatever reason, all about Ripple and Neo and a couple of these other coins. So if if the South Korean scare pans out to be nothing at all, that's going to be bullish for Ripple. Every time the RippleNet adds more clients, and this is happening almost at least monthly at this point. I would say almost weekly. Um, Usually, when we see a headline on that, we see a spike in the price of Ripple. Um, so Ripple is one of my top picks. IOTA, I love IOTA because I love Tangle. The proof system, it's way different than proof of work. It's way different than proof of stake. Basically, if you want to make a transaction on the IOTA network, you have to verify two other transactions. So it does away with the mining necessary, the mining necessity. So it's very, very energy efficient. It's very, very green in that respect. And the Tangle network is growing. And if this catches on, IOTA is going to be huge. And I hope I hope it does. That does happen. I don't have a position in IOTA. I'm still waiting for a little bit more of a pullback, but I think it's almost time. Other than that, I do like Verge. I do like Verge, especially after visiting that chart just now. I really like this. I mean, uh, it looks bearish, but I think we're nearing the end of this Elliott wave, and then we can see a nice retracement. Um, let's see here if there's any other trends. Not really. So I've been learning a lot of my analysis skills. I'm sort of the understudy of one of my friends. I just met him through Alan at Crypto Answers. His name is Christian, and he's an absolute genius. So I hope hope I'm making him proud right now, and hopefully he's watching this and he'll give me some feedback. But I gotta give him some credit because he's really been helping me learn how to cover this stuff. Anyways, all right. Anyone know where I can get? All right, Ellen answered that question. Thanks for the Verge update. No problem, dude. Thanks for the question. I always appreciate that viewer interaction. That makes this so much better. Brock Hager says, dude, what is up with the market cap? Well, Bitcoin is making waves, bro. We're still settled at about $5,700. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the overall market cap right now, $170 billion. We're still 10 billion below the market cap back when Bitcoin hit 5,000 initially. So, although Bitcoin is going absolutely bonkers, the overall market still has not fully recovered. That is important to note. I'm curious what will happen to the market cap overall as Bitcoin sells off here in the near to medium future, and the altcoins should all rebound. I don't know what that's going to do to the overall market cap, but I'm curious to see for sure. Brock Hager asked the question, does North Korea have a secret Bitcoin stash? I don't think so. Man, I know you hear the news all the time, like rumors about North Korea hacking South Korean networks and all this random crap. Dude, I don't think North Korea, they probably barely even know what Bitcoin is. They're not really in the loop. I would not be afraid of North Korea if I were you. I just spent a year in South Korea, and every time Kim Jong would launch a missile or do something stupid, they would hype it up. But he's a big baby, not even worth being scared. Ricky Kerr, he says, "What's this you're looking at?" I don't remember. I don't know what we were looking at the time. Where's the top on Bitcoin? Brock Hager. Good question. We were talking about this earlier. I didn't really. Actually, I guess I didn't cover this specifically, but we did talk about this Elliott's wave right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're in the fifth wave right here, and who knows how high it could go. It's fairly common for the fifth wave, the final wave, to be the most powerful one, and I mean it's not quite as long as this one right here. So I think we still have some room to run. I wouldn't be surprised if 6,000 was a catalyst. I'm sure it's still fresh in everyone's mind. There was a lot of psychological resistance at 5,000. I mean, we pretty much hit it and then we sold off to 3,000. So there's going to be a lot of psychological resistance. I can only assume at 6,000. And I mean, I just sold all my Bitcoin there, right? I have no more Bitcoin now. It's actually pretty sad. It's actually pretty sad, especially if this ends up being just a small correction and not a market sell-off. But 6,000 could very well be the top. But I don't know. This Bitcoin Gold is driving hysteria in the market right now, and we could see 7,000, 6,000. Who knows, man? I mean, I don't know what Bitcoin Gold is going to be worth after the hard fork. If I knew that, then I could tell you, because really what all of this right here represents, pretty much from here to here, if you buy now, you're paying for the Bitcoin Gold premium. So I would say that right now people are betting that Bitcoin Gold is going to be worth 57 minus 42, probably about $1,300. That's what I'm wagering right now. Bitcoin Cash, I think is pretty much obsolete at this point. It's going to be going nowhere. Bitcoin Gold, though, I have high hopes for Bitcoin Gold. They're going to be implementing replay protection. They're going to be using the EquiHash proof system, the same proof system that Zcash uses. It's very energy efficient. They're going to be fully decentralizing the mining process. The Bitcoin miner pools have become pretty centralized, just by virtue of the process of getting started mining Bitcoins is very expensive. You got to buy the ASICs. There's several thousand. I think the more expensive ones are $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 each. Really, you need several of them if you really want to make much of an impact. And then you got to pay all the electricity costs. I mean, you have to have quite a bit of capital to get started mining, right? But what Bitcoin Gold is going to do, using the EquiHash proof system, they're going to make it possible to mine Bitcoin Gold using your desktop at home. Everyone who uses Bitcoin Gold is going to be able to mine it very, very simply, very, very energy efficiently. And the prospect of that is, I don't know. I mean, people are even saying that they think it could possibly overtake Bitcoin somewhere in the future. Now, even if that does happen, we're talking about an absolutely asinine time frame, like 10 years down the road probably. But I think there's a possibility of that happening. Bitcoin Gold really promises a lot. I'll pull up this article again. It's at cryptoanswers.net, Bitcoin Gold Hard Fork, the facts. I wrote this a couple of days ago, and I feel like it pretty thoroughly covers a lot of the perks, a lot of the offerings that Bitcoin Gold is bringing to the table. And I mean, I expect a lot out of it, and look, so does the broader market. So we'll just have to see what happens. All right, I'm sorry guys, I'm getting behind on the questions, but keep them coming because this is awesome. Bitcoin Cash is garbage. Yep, I agree. Brian Tan, he says, hey, can you recommend a site to buy Bitcoin besides Coinbase? I hopped on the Bitcoin train this morning at 5.2K, but Coinbase gave me a 2K limit. Yeah, so I would recommend, I mean, Coinbase becomes a little bit more friendly as you use it. As you earn trust with Coinbase, they raise your limit. My limit starting off, I think, was 5,000, and now it's up to 15,000. But I have a $15,000 cap buying from my bank and buying with funds that I already have stored. So essentially, I can buy 30,000 through Coinbase on the spot. You just have to be consistent, keep using it, and eventually, I guess you earn their trust kind of as you go. But come on, Fly. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, I think part of that is for your benefit because they don't want like beginners just really feeling the hype and throwing their life savings into this, not understanding what the heck is going on, not understanding the risk, and then getting burnt really badly. I think the cap at Coinbase is partially for that reason, but I don't know. It is pretty annoying, and I'm with you on that. I mean, I live in the USA. I'm going to assume just by your name that you probably do too, Brian Tan. That sounds pretty American. But I think Coinbase is the best option for us at this point. There are a lot of restrictions on U.S. citizens, unfortunately, and that limits our options. I mean, we can't even invest in ICOs, like not at all. So hopefully in the near future that will change. As of now, I'm not aware of any better options. I hate the fees on Coinbase. I really do. It cost me like 125 bucks to sell my Bitcoin earlier. Like what the hell? That's 250 bucks to buy and sell once. You have to make $250 just to break even. That's absolutely asinine in my opinion. But then again, look at this. We have the volatility, so it's still worth it. Volatility equals profit potential, and I realized the potential, and then bam, capitalized. It sounds like you did too. If you bought this morning for 5.2K, dude, your timing was ideal. You bought right at the beginning of this run up, so that was pretty well played, dude. I gotta commend you on that. All right, Chinedu Aboide says you aren't reading my comments, just skipping it. Not fair. I'm sorry, dude. What'd you say? Let me scroll back up. Let me scroll back up. I went all in on Stratus and IOTA for long term. It is a good move. Yeah, I don't know enough about Stratus to comment on that. I'm with you on IOTA. IOTA is pretty damn solid. All right. Mike says, I heard the fees were brutal on the ATMs. Yeah, dude, they are. On average, somewhere between 8 to 10% is what you're going to pay at the ATM. The fee I just paid at Coinbase, I think, was like 1.5%. I don't know. Let me do the math here real quick. I paid $125 fee on like 7,000. Yeah, about 1.5%. Those are just really rough numbers. But yeah, at an ATM, you're going to be paying. It depends on whether you're buying Bitcoin or selling Bitcoin. There is actually a significant difference. I think I forget which one has a higher fee, but on average, you're going to be paying like 8 to 10%. By the way, I'm glad you brought that up because I wrote an article on this. We just published this at cryptoanswers.net a couple of days ago, and the response we got from the community was pretty wild, actually. So we just topped 1,000 Bitcoin ATMs in the United States alone. This was when we published this, on October the 2nd, so 10 days ago. Now, I guarantee you we've added a ton of ATMs since then. Let's go ahead and check this out live. All right, let's go break this down by country, United States. So there's 1,053 Bitcoin ATMs right now. 1,053. When I published this, there were 997, so 56 new BTMs in the United States in 10 days. That's more than 5 per day. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, they're spreading all over the world. Ukraine, I know. I think we published an article on this as well. They were trying to build 150 BTMs by the end of August. I haven't heard any news on that since. I don't know if that ever came to fruition, but they wanted to have like 1,000 by the end of the year. So I'm sure they're still building those out, and they just introduced some legislation that is going to fully legalize Bitcoin in Ukraine. It hasn't been approved yet, but it is on the table. Hopefully that'll happen, and then if it does, you'll see Ukraine in the headlines more and more. They could very well become a driving force. Japan, this brings up another article that I'd like to talk about. They just fully licensed 11 exchanges. There you go. Japan licensed 11 Bitcoin exchanges to carry China's trade volume. That is the title of the article. And so what we saw is China's banning ICOs, China is closing down exchanges, and then bam, Japan steps in, licenses a whole bunch of exchanges, and now they are floating all of China's trade volume. All the volume that China once had, Japan now has, and now they're carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. At the time I wrote this article, Japan was moderating almost half of the global trade volume for cryptocurrency. That's absolutely insane. And I would like to see Ukraine kind of get in on that as well. I really like Ukraine as a country. I don't know what it is about Ukraine, but I kind of like Ukraine. All right, Bitcoin is sold off just a little bit. It was, what, 57 and change earlier. Now it's back down to 56.78. I think we're consolidating around that level. See if I can zoom in here. Let's pull up a 5-minute chart. Yeah, we're starting to consolidate. This is going to be our midline, probably somewhere around in there. 566, 5,660 or so. That's that's where we're at right now. That'll probably end up being our midline, and I don't know what's going to happen from there. We're just going to have to continue to follow it. Let's get back to the questions. All right, all right. Rakesh Singh asked the question, chain link, just hype, or can it go to the moon with that Swift integration? Man, I apologize. I don't know enough about it to comment. I have no idea what Chainlink is. Maybe I can do some research for our next live stream. As of now, I just have no idea. Bob Sand asked the question, how do you feel buying from Bitcoin ATMs? Conversion rates are better than using localbitcoins.com. I've never used a BTM. I live in the armpit of Texas, so there are no BTMs anywhere nearby, unfortunately. But like I said, I wrote that article. I did a lot of research. The average fee is going to be between like 8 to 10% of whatever you're buying or selling. And I mean, I think what those are intended for is to be able to float you money on a like a spur of the moment basis, basically. So you're going out to the club or whatever, and you're like, oh crap, I forgot my wallet, but I have my phone or whatever. Um, that's not a very good example. If you need to get money on the fly, the Bitcoin ATM is a good asset. You'd probably be more than willing to pay 10% if you need money in the moment and there is no other option. I mean, compare that to just a normal ATM. If you want to withdraw cash on the spot, if you only want to withdraw, 25 bucks or whatever, and you pay a $2 fee to do it, I mean, that's a $10 fee right there. So if you really break it down and think about it, it's not much worse than a typical ATM. Look at this price action. Looky there. Are we still selling off? Ooh, we're approaching the lower limits there of the 5600s. So we will see. Litecoin also appears to be selling off. It was up 18% earlier. Now it's up 13. Where's that chart? So here we go. 1, 2, 3. This is going to be a pivotal moment right here. Curious to see if we're going to be able to hold that. If not, maybe we'll develop an Elliott wave here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go back up. Or maybe we're going to keep falling. Who knows? Anyways, Samir, wow, I'm just going to call you PJ because that's the last 2 letters of your name, and it's a lot easier to pronounce. He says, I live in Houston, Texas, and ATMs here are all over but brutal on fees. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for providing that since I could not. I've never used one before. Oh, looks like we have a bunch of viewers from Texas. Awesome. Welcome. Welcome, brothers in arms. Good to be surrounded by company. And let's see what else. I wanted to talk about NEO because I addressed this in one of my live streams on a different channel the other day. We talked about this head and shoulders right here and how I thought it was going to be bearish for the price of NEO in the near term, and then this happened. But it wasn't very convincing, right? We're already starting to fall back down here, and so it looks like this we might be justifying this head and shoulders here, and we might be on the way back down. If that happens, I finally did a little bit of research on NEO. I definitely like the platform. It seems solid. Yes, there is all of that discontent in China still. It's not in the headlines, but it's not like they have reopened exchanges and re-legalized ICOs either. So NEO is still up in the air a little bit, but I think long term it's still a very, very promising project, and China's not going to keep the exchanges and ICOs banned forever. They are going to want the economic catalyst that that's going to provide. They just want to regulate it and tax it first, so they're trying to figure out how to do that, I guarantee you. Now, we are finding some support here. You can see we're already bouncing up here just a little bit. I don't know if that's going to be enough to actually hold. If not, then we're going to see a nice sell-off. And I'm going to be looking to enter probably at 20 bucks. Anything below 20 is going to be a buy for NEO. So I'll definitely continue to keep an eye on that. If it does hold this mark, then I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm still pretty bearish on NEO at this point, at least near term. Litecoin I was talking about the other day. Man, look at this sell-off. Like that's, oops, no, I just messed it up. anyways, we were in this bearish channel for a little while, but then we completely broke out. So that was pretty exciting. I still hold a little bit of Litecoin. I thought I was going to keep on going, but we just had a pretty convincing pullback there. So who knows what's going to happen now? But at least we did break out of the channel there. So this was one of my more bearish picks the other day, and I ended up being wrong because, as you can see, I mean, it completely ignored the channel boundary there, and we just launched right up above it. Oh yeah, this is XRP. I used this for my my live stream the other day. I thought this was interesting. Look how closely. No, that was a different. It was Ethereum. All right, let me pull up the 200-day moving average here. Come on now. Okay, what the heck? Maybe it was a 100-day moving average. Wow, I completely don't even know what I was going to talk about. Anyways, back to the questions. Let's see what we have coming in here. Ricky Kaur says he asked a question: is Bitcoin good or no? I don't know. My faith has been a little bit shaken as of late. I did just sell my Bitcoin. I got a little bit spooked at 58.50. I sold it right at the top there, so I'm pretty happy with that. I could go ahead and buy back in now, although with the fees I would have to pay through Coinbase, it would make it completely pointless anyways. But I mean, like I said, I sold at 58.50. I think we're going to get a lot of pushback as we approach 6,000. There's going to be another very, very key psychological threshold. There's going to be a lot of resistance. So I think we're not going to be seeing this too much as we approach 6,000. We're going to be seeing more of this, just kind of gathering a little bit of support there before we head higher. Look at that, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we might be another Elliott wave developing there. That's interesting. Anyways, what else do we have here? Does GDAX have the PDT rule? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Wish I did. I never used GDAX. I think I saw another question about that earlier. I've never used GDAX. I don't know how it compares to Coinbase. I'm not able to comment on that. So Ricky Kruger says you came in late to the Bitcoin party. You bought it as your first investment. Awesome. Congratulations on your first investment there. You're asking, you're hoping it's a good move. I'm curious what price you paid for Bitcoin. Someone was just talking earlier how they bought in just today, I think you said, at 5,200, and that proved to be an absolute genius move because this is the best move that we've seen probably in the history of Bitcoin. I mean, that is absolutely insane. So that was a good move right there. Ricky Kaur, he says, I'm new. No problem, dude. There's a lot of newbies in this live stream. I would guarantee you. But we cater to the new guys. Like we love to introduce people to this amazing community. If you've interacted with the crypto community at all, you know it's a good group of people. It's a smart group of people. A lot of motivated and intrinsically just solid individuals. And so we're very, very proud to help build this community. Part of that is, well, we wrote these quick start guides. That's what I wanted to talk about. So, I mean, if I don't know how new you are, but if you don't even know what a cryptocurrency is or what blockchain is, we've laid this out in our quick start guides here at cryptoanswers.net. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. And then obviously we post articles. We try to do them daily, but sometimes we do videos instead. And everyone that works here at Crypto Answers, we do this stuff part-time essentially. I mean, we all have full-time jobs, but then every minute, every waking moment of our off time, we spend on developing this content for you guys, but we only have so much time in the day. So we're not always able to post daily articles, but we try. Usually if we don't do an article, we do a video or something like that. Today, there's just so much going on, so much volatility, so much excitement. We did a video, we did an article, now we're doing a live stream because we just want to pass on the excitement and pass on the news to you guys. You bought at 4,300, then yeah, dude, you're in the money there. That was good. That was well played. Excellent. All right, so Bob Sand says, if I plan to buy Bitcoins in the near future, how much should I spend? Um, I don't know. I don't know that I would recommend buying Bitcoin at these prices. I mean, 4,300, solid. As soon as we broke that $5,000 very, very key psychological threshold, that would have been a good time to buy as well. But now we're approaching the next threshold, right? We almost visited $6,000. I just came to realize that we almost cracked 5,000 and 6,000 in the same day. How crazy would that have been? We were so very close. But there's going to be a lot of resistance at 6,000. So I think the risk to reward right now for Bitcoin is pretty low. Now we do still have the upward pressure that the promise of Bitcoin Gold brings. That's why we're seeing this massive run up in the price as it is. And I don't know if that's going to be enough to boost us past the $6,000 threshold. I really don't know. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so you asked the question, how much did you spend? I think at this point I would recommend starting to position yourself in some of the well-respected altcoins. I can't believe I didn't talk about 10x earlier. Ripple, IOTA, Verge, Civic, 10x, probably my top 5 altcoin picks. But do your own independent research. I'm not an expert. I always got to throw that caveat out there. But yeah, I don't know that I buy Bitcoin at these levels. Altcoins are going to be the way forward here pretty soon. They've been selling off so that everyone can rush all their capital into Bitcoin, and the exact opposite of that is going to happen here pretty soon if this Bitcoin sell-off does continue. I hope that answered your question. Alan commented, he said, the rule of thumb here is you don't actually lose until you sell, and that is the truth. I actually made the mistake of when we cracked $4,000 and headed towards 5 before we had that massive pullback, I was buying little bits of Bitcoin. I think at like 4,100 I bought like a tenth of the Bitcoin, 4,300 I bought like a tenth, and I think at 4,500 I bought like 0.3 to get me up to half a Bitcoin. And then I was not smart enough to sell at 5,000. We pulled back all the way to 3, but then I rode it all the way back up, and now here we are, 50. I sold it at 5,800. So I still made a profit, even though we had that massive pullback. I am losing my voice, guys. I apologize. Dang, this sucks. Tara Bethel. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the live stream. That's a new name. I don't think I've seen you here before. Welcome to the stream. What else do we have for comments? What are the well-respected altcoins in your opinion? Well, pretty much anything in the top 20 is going to be pretty solid. I guess I'll address a few caveats there. Oh my goodness, BitConnect top 8 cracked $200. I can't believe that. That's insane. $1.4 billion market cap. But I've done a lot of research on BitConnect. I am a BitConnect investor, but I would not recommend this as an altcoin investment, not at all. Their program is not audited. I think it's one of the riskiest assets out there. But aside from BitConnect and let's see, I would avoid Bitcoin Cash. I would avoid BitConnect. I would avoid Ethereum Classic. I have no freaking idea what Cardano is. I haven't even heard of that until now. What else? I think everything else in the top 20 is pretty solid. You might want to pick something that has been selling off because there's probably going to be a little bit more profit potential there. And then Tether, I don't know if you're familiar with Tether, but it's basically tethered directly to the US dollar. So you'll always be able to exchange your Tether in a 1-to-1 ratio for US dollars if you want to. Now the problem with Tether is I think they've had some banking issues lately. I haven't really kept up on that. I've watched some videos, but I didn't truly study it. I know they're on kind of a rocky foundation right now, and I don't know. I'm a little bit hesitant to transfer my money to Tether. But anyways, you don't want to invest that. If you're looking to buy an altcoin for profit, you don't want to buy Tether because it's just linked directly to the US dollar. What else is respected? Steam has been selling off. Wow, that's a pretty impressive sell off from Steam. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Steam program, but they have the I'll just pull it up. They have this site here. It's kind of like a Reddit. Basically, you can post videos, articles, whatever, and then people upvote it and whatnot. But as people upvote your whatever you post, whatever information you post, as they upvote it, you actually get money. So the way it works is the higher your reputation is on Steemit, the more your vote counts. So if you have a very, very high reputation on Steemit, then if you upvote someone else's video or post, then they're going to make some decent money off of it. If you're like, I'm brand new to Steam, so when I upvote someone's video or whatever, they don't get anything. Like my opinion is worthless on Steemit, but it's just getting started. It's a pretty unique community. It's pretty awesome. I would recommend looking into it if you have not. And then we have DTube, and this has got to be one of the coolest things I've seen in a while. It's basically YouTube. It's almost exactly identical to YouTube. The difference here is when you upload a video to DTube, you're uploading it directly to the blockchain. And here's the best part. If you are a dedicated streamer or you produce content on a regular basis, you're probably doing it to supplement your income at least to an extent. So you're wanting to get a good return on your time, a good return on your investment there. You're not going to get a very good return from YouTube. They just give you crumbs, and then they keep all the advertising revenue, right? Not the case with DTube. They pretty much keep nothing, and they give you all the revenue. So as long as you're producing good content and you establish a good reputation, you're going to be able to make some pretty awesome money on DTube. If you haven't looked into that, definitely check out DTube. DTube's awesome, and DTube and Steam are basically one and the same, run by the same developers. If you upload any video, any content to DTube, it automatically posts to your Steemit. It automatically makes a post there for you. So that's pretty cool. But so as you earn money for posting your content, you can redeem it into the Steam currency. That's what the money figure there is. So I would say Steam is definitely pretty respected at this point, especially if it takes off and like starts stealing market share from YouTube and Reddit. What else? 10x, man. I am super bullish on 10x. The CEO, Dr. What's his name? Dude, I don't know why I have this insane brain fart on his name. I can never remember. But he releases almost daily updates. He's very, very active. The development team is awesome. They release videos and live podcasts, all sorts of stuff, keeping us updated. They have a lot of things planned for 10x. They have applied for a banking license. If they ever succeed in earning that, if they're granted a banking license, 10x is going to take off like you can't even imagine. Also, 10x is not available in the United States. This goes back to what I was saying, that there are tons of restrictions placed on U.S. residents. That's just another one. We can't use the 10x card. So that kind of sucks. But if it's ever introduced to the United States, it's going to be huge. So I guess near term, I don't know what to expect from 10x. In the long run, I want to say that's like guaranteed profit. Pretty bullish on 10x long term. Now short term, I mean, like I said, Bitcoin's going to start selling off. Altcoins are going to come back from the dead, and 10x is going to feel some of that. I'm pretty sure. This is a very, very attractive. You know what? I actually have a. All right, check that out. So I talked about this again in one of my past live streams. We are definitely in this. I can't think right now. It's getting late. This bearish tunnel, for lack of a better term. We are at the very top of it. However, we're at the very top. I think that is a bullish indication. I think it wants to break out. We're just waiting for some of the Bitcoin capital to start flowing back this way. And it's going to start happening here pretty soon. I want to say within Bitcoin gold splits on the 25th. That's 13 days from now. Within 2 weeks, we're going to see some positive price action out of 10x. I can almost guarantee that. All right, Bitcoin's back up into the mid 5,700s. We are still holding strong. Bam. All right. Interesting. We'll continue to follow that. I bet I'm getting way behind here on the questions. What do we have going on here? All right. Someone posted in a foreign language, and his question is, what's your program called? I'm assuming you're referring to this one right here. This is tradingview.com. It's free. It's completely free to use, and it has more indicators than you can shake a stick at. So you'll be able to break down the analysis any way you want, as long as you know how to use the tools. If you're not talking about that, maybe you're talking about Crypto Compare. This is invaluable. I spend all day, every day looking at Crypto Compare, tracking these prices live. Every time a transaction is made, it harvests that information directly from the exchange and updates it real time here on their website, cryptocompare.com. Check that out if you never have before. Amit Awal asked the question, which platform do you use to trade coins? I use Bittrex if I want to trade between cryptocurrencies. If I want to move my assets back into the US dollar, then I've just been using Coinbase. That's probably not the best way to do it. The best way is probably Tether, just so you don't have to pay the Coinbase fees each and every time. I mean, they add up. They are brutal. Coinbase fees are brutal. However, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, Tether has been having some issues lately. I kind of lost some of my confidence in Tether. So I'm just using Coinbase for the time being until Tether is audited, and I know for a fact that they have I want to make sure that they have $1 for every Tether that they have released. Make sure they're not basically partaking in a fractional reserve system just like the banks are, because that would be BS. That would be broken. And there is a threat of that right now. Until they're audited and we know for sure, I'm kind of staying away from Tether. So yeah, I use Bittrex. I'm not going to log in right now because I don't want to show you guys that whole process. I don't want to give away a password or something. But Bittrex is pretty good. Bitfinex is pretty good. Those are the only two that I've used aside from Coinbase. But I had no complaints. I like them both. Thank you for the answer. You're welcome. Thank you for the thank you. Samir, all right, I'm just going to call you PJ again. PJ says the BitPay card is way better than Coinbase. I never used the BitPay card. My brother just got one, so I'm eager to hear his feedback on that. I think he has been using that a little bit. I never used BitPay, but I'll have to look into it. All right, what else do we have here? Is there any other analysis we can do? Bitcoin just kind of fluctuating back and forth. We're solidifying this position. It looks like we're probably going to probably make another run for 6,000, and we're probably going to be denied again. But it might take some time there. Oh man, altcoins are still selling off, down 8%, 10%, 7.5%, 12%, 2%. Altcoins still selling off. So at the beginning, I was asking if anyone wanted technical analysis performed on any coins, any altcoins that you're interested in. Make sure you ask a question in the chat here. I'll be more than willing to answer your questions or do some analysis, see what I can find. You know what? I wonder if there's any. Nope. I was hoping there'd be some questions on YouTube, but our followers are pretty few and far between on YouTube, so not surprising. What about VeChain? I do not know what that is. VEN. Let's see here. All right. Huh. Not able to track VEN through Yeah, it looks like that trading pair is not recognized on TradingView, so I will not be able to cover that. I do apologize. If there's anything else you would like covered, please let me know. Let's note this fluctuation. All right, so again, this is written in a foreign language. I don't know what your name is, but he said, I appreciate you letting us know of this fluctuation. What is your take on the number of ICOs upcoming? Good question. I think the number of ICOs is absolutely ludicrous. And that's why I don't necessarily look down on China and South Korea's decision to put a halt on the ICOs. I think they might actually have good intentions in mind behind that. And I mean, look at this: 1,164 cryptocurrencies tracked at CoinMarketCap.com. I mean, weeks ago, last month, there was like 800 and something. So there's so many cryptocurrencies out there, so many ICOs. I know I work pretty closely with Alan Steinberg at Crypto Answers. He's been getting contacts from several people trying to launch their ICOs. They want him or me to do interviews and stuff like that. And we're going to be bringing you guys that content here pretty soon. But I mean, it just speaks volumes about how there are so many ICOs upcoming. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And only a small percentage of them are going to survive. I mean, there's let's take privacy coins, for example. How many of them are there? Ethereum they're with Byzantium, they are really boosting their privacy transaction capability. If they bring the gas cost down on that, that's going to be that's going to become a thing. So Ethereum, I mean, it already has so many applications, but it's about to become a privacy coin. That's so competing with that. You have Monero, definite privacy coin. You have Zcash, that's one of the best ones out there. I mean, there's all these coins just in that like small sector, and not all of them are going to be able to survive. Then you have cloud storage coins. I think Verge is one of those. Sia coin, Pivx, I believe, is a storage coin. Not all of these are going to survive, guys. Some of them are going to fail. I've never partaken in an ICO. Now, part of that is because I'm a U.S. citizen. I can't legally partake in an ICO. I think typically there is money to be made just because there's always hype. People are always willing to buy the coin right off the bat. But then usually you see this, massive run up and then this massive sell off, and then it just sits there almost forever. And I think we're going to see a lot of failures start to appear, and I don't want to risk my money on that. I mean, Bitcoin has been incredibly lucrative as of late, so you don't even have to get into the altcoins and the ICOs and all that weird stuff to make money. Just know how to time your entry into the Bitcoin market. Know how to trade Ethereum. By the way, when Bitcoin starts selling off, Ethereum, I'm pretty sure, should benefit from that. I know the Byzantium hard fork is coming out. Then they're going to have the Constantinople fork shortly after that. They got all sorts of stuff planned for Ethereum. The mining difficulty bomb that's going to be generating some hype, and hopefully it's going to be bullish on the price. Do I have the Ethereum chart pulled up here? I do. All right, this is Ethereum right here. So this is what we call an ascending triangle right here, right? So we have increasingly higher lows, meaning we run up, we come down, but the low is still higher than this low back here. We run up again, we come down, and again, the low is higher than this low back here. So it's an ascending triangle. Although we're holding the same top and we're not able to break that $400, I guess that's proven to be a pretty key psychological threshold there, right? So far, we have not broken it. But what we're probably going to see here is this same trend continue, but it's the fluctuation is going to be smaller and smaller, right? I mean, we're already seeing that on a micro level right here, but it'll probably continue. We might hit 400 again and then down, but this is going to continue until we reach the tip of this triangle right here. And then it's either going to break up or it's going to break down. But because this is an ascending triangle, that is a bullish indicator. And I think that whenever it does break out, it's going to break upwards. And that's why I'm very, very bullish on Ethereum. I sold my Bitcoin, sold it at 58.50 at the very, very top there. Pretty happy with that. Even if, oh, hey, Hanson, welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, sold my Bitcoin, but I still hold my Ethereum because I think there's still a lot of profit potential and very low risk with Ethereum right now. All right, looks like we got some questions coming in here. Let's get back to that. Amit Awal says Bitcoin is fluctuating, nearly reaching 6,000. What is your thoughts on this? Is it a good idea to buy now or wait for the dip? I mean, I just sold, so I do not plan to re-enter anywhere near 6,000. We are consolidating right here around the $5,700 level, and I think we're going to make another run on 6,000. But that could be our double top that sparks the sell-off. I don't know. I'm really not sure at this point. There is still a lot of upward pressure from the Bitcoin gold fork, and I just don't know how much that's going to be able to deliver. I mean, buyer sentiment has got to expire here fairly soon. I cannot believe that we broke 5,000 today, and then we almost saw 6,000. I can't believe it. Did not expect that. It came out of nowhere. But there should be some consolidation here between 5,700 and 6,000. Looks like this was just a small correction. It was not a sell-off. It's not the beginning of the sell-off. So we're probably going to sit here for a couple days, try to crack 6,000. If we do, then there's going to be another massive bull run. I don't know that that'll happen. I'm pretty happy with my gain so far, and I think the risk has been elevating with the appreciation, and as the risk elevates, the reward potential is shrinking. So I was ready to get out, and that's what I did. Hope that answers your question. Gabriel Velez asked, at what price would you sell 10x? Probably, I've been crossing my fingers for $4. Let me see if I can pull it up. $4 was the recent high. That was back here in, that was August. I know I bought my first 10x down here somewhere, and then it went up to 4. I didn't sell, and I rode it all the way down to somewhere below. Well, obviously it went back down to like what, 138 or something. I was not smart enough to buy there. I bought as it went back up to like $2. And now I'm hoping for $4. I think we could see that in the near term. Like I was talking about here, we are in this bullish channel right here. That's what I was looking for earlier. We are still in a bullish channel here. We're continuing downwards, but we've approached the top. So we tried to kick off of it there, but we didn't. We held right at the very top of this bullish channel. I'm sorry, bearish channel, because we're headed downwards. We are still in a bearish channel, but we're at the very top of that, and I think this could be a bullish indicator. 10x wants to break out. There's just so much resistance at this level right here that I'm not sure if we're going to be able to. But I think we will. I think we will because, like I've said, I don't know how many times throughout the stream, Bitcoin will sell off. That capital will flow into all these different altcoins. 10x is going to be one of the main ones. There's more hype and more confidence behind 10x than just about any other altcoin out there. So I think we can expect to see a breakout in 10x here pretty soon, and I'm going to be looking at $4. Yeah, maybe 4 and change. That's going to be a pretty good sell target there. Hanson asked how it's going, dude. It's going pretty good. I mean, just look at the market today. I am ecstatic. I am super excited. Even my real job has been going really, really well. So life's going pretty good. Thanks for asking. Brian Tan asked, U.S. citizens can't partake in ICOs? No, they cannot. They absolutely cannot partake in ICOs. We are completely banned. That's why if you look into any of the ICOs, they always state this ICO is barred for U.S. citizens, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure there's some way to circumvent the ban there, but I don't know how, and I don't really want to break any laws to do it because I'm really not about the ICOs anyways. I like trading the heavy volume carriers, the volume movers, because that's where the technical analysis really applies. If you try to apply technical analysis to, like, I don't know, Mooncoin, I'm just choosing something completely random. I mean, anything can happen with Mooncoin. I don't know anything about it, but if there's some kind of positive news, then technical analysis goes out the window. Fundamentals go out the window. it's going to be all hype from there. So, um, but all this stuff I've been talking about, like the Elliott waves and the moving averages and the Fibonacci retracements, that applies very practically to Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, even Neo. So I like kind of sticking to the basics there and having that trusty system in the heavy volume coins there. Lods Bruno asked a question, what do you know about Golos Gold? It looks like a Steam website. Never heard of it. Let's check it out. Be nice if I could type. Building a gold-secured social network. That sounds pretty interesting. All right, looks like they're not even in ICO stage. Is that right? Or did we already have a coin? Oh, we do already have a coin. There you go. There's our chart. All right. Oh, wow, it's been out since the beginning of the year. So it started at, holy cow, started at $1.56 and now it's down to 8 cents. I don't know what happened there. But, oh, this is a year ago. I don't know, man. I don't know much about it, but I would say I'm not going to be investing in it. I will say that much. Looks pretty dead, so sorry. What else do we have here? Any tips on understanding the markets on TradingView? That question came from Bob Sane. Not really sure exactly what you're asking. I mean, TradingView does have a whole bunch of indicators that you can apply. I mean, a lot of the stuff it dumbs down to you, like, or dumbs down for you, like the zigzag, for example. Why did that not work? Where's my... So why did that not work? There we go. There's your zigzag. It has all kinds of tools like that, just so you can easily see the trends there and identify some of these. What am I trying to say? Like the Elliott waves and stuff like that. It has a lot of tools for you to use. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say on that. I don't know. I don't fully understand the question. Ben Adams, he said dual citizenship. I'm assuming what you're asking is if that's a way to circumnavigate the ban on U.S. citizens partaking in ICOs. I don't know. Good question. I never really thought about that. I'm not sure. I'm assuming, yeah, you'd be able to, because you'd have access to other currencies other than the U.S. dollar, and you would have, I mean, as long as you lived in a foreign country, you would have that foreign, dude, I can't think right now. I'm going to have to wrap this up because my mind is just numb right now. You'd have a foreign IP. There you go. You wouldn't have a U.S. IP. I think between the two of those, you would probably be able to buy or partake in some of the ICOs. Gabriel Velez says he got 10x at 170, so 470 would be good. Hell yeah, dude. You'd make what 150% there or something like that. That'd be pretty solid. That'd be pretty awesome. But yeah, 170, dude. You have almost no risk on the table at that point. That was a good call there. Munir Nathu. I think that's, I don't recognize that name. I think you're new. So welcome to the channel, man. Good to have you with us. He asked the question, how long can you hold a crypto in a wallet? Do you have to trade it all the time, or can you hold it for about 6 months and then sell, or sell when it's high again? That's a good question, man. I've never heard that question before. Good question. You can hold crypto indefinitely. It does not matter how long. There's no limits to how long you can hold it in a wallet. As long as you own that private key, then no one can take that crypto from you. And it's not like you have to pay a fee to hold it or anything. It's yours. You own it. It's decentralized, so there's no one to even take fees from you. You can hold it indefinitely. There's a lot of people that do that. I don't know if you've heard the term HODL, HODL. It stands for hold on for dear life. And that's basically just the principle of buying cryptocurrency and just not worrying about it for years. Like you'll wake up in 2020 or 2030 and Bitcoin will be, I don't know, 100 grand or something stupid like that. And maybe you bought it at 6,000, maybe it crashes down to 4. You bought it at 6, it crashes to 4, but it's going to go up well beyond that anyways. And people are that confident in the crypto markets. And so that's where that term came from, just HODL, hold on for dear life. As long as you hang in there and hold on and you're not worried about the massive volatility in the long run, it's going to be okay. You're going to make money. And kind of got off on a tangent there, but yeah, there you go. So yeah, you're saying you're going to try to spoof for IP. Yeah, it's not that hard to do. I actually have a membership to what's it called? Ghost something. Never mind. I can't think right now. I'm not going to talk about that. Let's check the price real quick. What's going on over here? Ooh, back up to 5,800. Son of a gun. All right. Anyways, if I didn't sell my Bitcoin, I was not going to be able to sleep tonight because there's so much volatility right now. So at least I'll be able to sleep. I hope I don't regret it. If we shoot through 6,000, I'm really going to be disgusted. All right. Sachin Dingra asked a question. How do you book profit when you sell crypto? Every time you pay a withdrawal fee and re-enter by paying fees again. That's a good question. Yeah, fees are cumbersome. They are very bothersome as well. Especially through Coinbase. That's the best option that I've found. I end up making money anyways. There's so much volatility in the market right now that the fees are almost, I don't want to say negligible, but they are worth paying for the opportunity to participate in the market because there's so much money to be made. One of the guys that was in the stream earlier, he said he bought Bitcoin this morning at 5,200, and we saw 5,850, almost 5,900 earlier. So in one day, if you bought one Bitcoin, you made $700. You'll probably pay $200 in fees to do that, maybe a little bit less. So you net $500. I mean, that's how much volatility we're seeing right now. It's just stupid. Excuse me. So I mean, that's why the fees, even though they're asinine, they're also reasonable at the same time because they just get swallowed up by your profit, and you still make money. Oh, also another thing I want to touch on that is taxes, right? Tax season is just around the corner. We only got a couple months before we have to start worrying about it. And we interviewed a CPA by the name of Patrick Camuso. Really intelligent guy. He is a CPA and he specializes in blockchain. And he specializes in cryptocurrency taxes. So we were able to derive a lot of information from him. We made a video about it. You can find it here on our website or at Crypto Answers on YouTube. You can find us either way. But if you want to navigate to our website here, cryptoanswers.net, make sure you pull up this article, and we basically did your research for you on taxes as they apply to cryptocurrency. The main takeaway here is cryptocurrency is considered property for the sake of taxes. The IRS considers it to be property. So every time you transact with it, it doesn't matter what you buy. If you buy Ethereum with Bitcoin, if you buy a car, if you buy a house, if you buy a cup of coffee, technically that transaction is taxable if you are realizing a profit when you make the transaction. Otherwise, you're realizing a loss, and it's really not that big of a deal. However, if you do that, really there's two options. You can either straight up pay your taxes on every transaction you make, or on all of the profits that you gain at the end of the year, and then you have nothing to worry about. That's what I recommend. Or you can do something called a 1031 exchange. And basically this allows you to carry your or defer your capital gains until you fully realize them. In other words, the IRS really has not released finite guidance on whether or not different cryptocurrencies are like-type assets or like-type property. So because there is no differentiation there. You can either elect to file the 1031, which defers your capital gains, or you can pay the taxes up front. It's up to you. However, if the IRS releases guidance in the future, finalizing their stance on that, and they decide that cryptocurrencies are not like type, then you're going to have to go back and pay taxes on everything. You're going to be charged extra fees, you're going to be charged interest, and it's going to be hell. So unfortunately, you pretty much have to pay taxes on everything at this point. Now, I go into it a lot more in depth in the video. So if you want to watch that, I still think it'd be worth it. But the big takeaway is the 1031 exchange. And actually, we made a second video just on the 1031, and you can find that on YouTube. If you search for Crypto Answers, it'll be the first video that comes up because it's our most recent one. All right, what's going on here? Bob's saying ExpressVPN has no logs of your real IP. Dude, that's perfect. Yep, that might be the key. You might be able to get into some ICOs using a VPN. Ghost VPN. CyberGhost, there you go. Yeah, that's the one that I use. I really like CyberGhost. I don't know much. I don't know if it tracks your if it has IP logs or not. I haven't looked into it in that much depth, but who knows. Munir Nathu asked another question. He said, in your opinion, what's the best trading platform and wallet to get started with crypto? I recommend Coinbase. I like Coinbase, man. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if you're a U.S. citizen. If you're not, there are better options out there other than Coinbase. If you're a U.S. citizen, I recommend Coinbase. It's pretty easy to use, very easy to get started. It just has big fees, and it does have spending limits initially until you like earn trust in the system or whatever. But the wallet I would recommend. I do not recommend storing your money in Coinbase. I haven't moved mine out because I just sold it. But if you're going to store your money long term and you're going to store much of it, I would recommend a cold storage wallet. So what's the one I was looking at earlier? KeepKey. I like the sounds of this one. Sounds pretty promising. What's the other one? The Nano S. So KeepKey, and then the Trezor is another one, and the Ledger Nano S. Those are three of the top crypto wallets. That's the most secure way to store your cryptocurrency because it's off of the net that way. No one's going to be able to hack it. It's not connected to the internet, and that's the most secure way to do it. Parthiv Punkia asked the question, should I buy Litecoin now? Good question. Let's go back to our analysis chart here. We were in a very, very long, drawn-out bearish downtrend here. If I drew the lines, we'd see that was a descending triangle. And then more recently here, we're in a bearish channel. However, we broke out of it convincingly, and we've now closed above it. So this should be a bullish indicator. I thought that Litecoin would trade back up to its all-time highs, just like Bitcoin did. I was hoping that it would be back up here by now. It's not. It's way down here. Although Bitcoin surpassed its all-time high, Litecoin did not. However, I think it has some catching up to do, and I hope that it does. With that in mind, you're asking if it's a good time to buy Litecoin. I don't know. I'm not going to be increasing my position. I'll say that. I'm going to be looking for maybe some, I don't know. I don't know what indication I'm looking for at this point. I think that you'd be better off with some of the other altcoins, to be honest. 10x, IOTA, maybe Verge. I don't know. I think some of the other altcoins are going to offer better potential returns and less risk. I don't know how much of a pullback we're going to see from this one-day movement here. If there is much of a pullback at all, then it might be time to buy back in. But I would consider this to be sort of a high price near term. We'll just have to see. Jeremy Buford, no way! I used to go to school with this dude. Jeremy Buford, welcome to the stream, man. I don't know if you keep. What am I trying to say here? I don't know if you are familiar with cryptocurrency at all, but there's a lot of money to be made. It uses a technology called blockchain, if you're not already familiar. And blockchain is everywhere and still expanding. Um, all these different currencies, there's like 1,200 different currencies right now. They're all based on blockchain. And the perks are that the whole system is decentralized, meaning you don't have to go through banks, you don't have to go through, they're not subject to the Federal Reserve, anything like that. Um, there's a lot more privacy and a lot more freedom in using these currencies, these coins, these tokens, than using traditional fiat currency like the U.S. dollar and the Japanese yen, the Chinese yuan, anything like that. So that's why they're taking off, because people are sick of the hegemony of the banks and sick of this oppression, and they have a lot of high hopes for Bitcoin. But let me just pull up, since you're just now joining, this is like the 1 day chart for Bitcoin here. Look at this. So when I went to bed last night, we were at $4,800. So that was where? That was right here. I went to bed, we're at 4,800. This is today's chart. We went from 4,800. We saw a high of 5,839. This is the kind of crap we're seeing from Bitcoin right now. It's absolutely insane. The reason for it, there's a hard fork coming up here in 13 days on the 25th of October. Bitcoin will undergo its second hard fork. The result will be a new currency called Bitcoin Gold. And people have a lot of high hopes for Bitcoin Gold. And you're going to be able to obtain it for free if you hold Bitcoin in a private key on the day that it forks. So it's creating this massive demand for Bitcoin right now, and that's why we're seeing the run-up. Now, there's going to be a lot of resistance at 6,000, and we're seeing that. We've already retraced pretty heavily from that point. We're consolidating here. We're going to make a second attempt, I'm pretty sure. But after that, I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that we pull back because I already sold all my Bitcoin, but who knows. All right, Brian Tan asked a question. Do you think Ethereum will go up after the Bitcoin fork? That is an excellent question, and I don't know. I'm less certain on that than I am on the Bitcoin hard fork. The reason is some of the upgrades per se are a little bit controversial. The one that's coming up here, actually it might be live now. If not, it's going to go live here in a day or two. The Byzantium upgrade. That's the one that's like here now. It went live on the Ropsten network. That's like the Ethereum test network at the end of September. And they've been testing it for a couple of weeks, and it should go live here very, very soon if it hasn't already. With that, there is going to be a mining difficulty bump. It's going to make it's going to basically increase the algorithm, make it more difficult to mine. So it'll take longer, and the money in mining is going to be less and less. Basically, that's how it's going to pan out. So I don't know if that's going to turn people off of Ethereum. If it does, if there are less Ethereum miners, it's probably going to have a bearish impact on the price. But I don't necessarily know that will happen. And there are some other things at play there, but I really don't know. If we look at the macro trend here, like I already talked about before, we're seeing this ascending triangle formation develop here, right? So the peaks are the same, but the lows are higher and higher, right? Here our low is $90. Here our low is $139. Here our low is $218, and that is a very, very bullish indicator. So things are looking pretty good for Ethereum long term, I want to say. I just hope that this hard fork doesn't crush it. I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't become that negative catalyst that sends us plummeting below this trend line here. If that does not happen, then theoretically we should pretty much work our way to the tip of the triangle here, and then we should break out above it. We should just continue with the bullish trend there. So that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm looking forward to. I still hold my Ethereum position. I'm still pretty positive on Ethereum right now, but who knows? All right, guys. I have to be at work at 6 a.m. tomorrow. It's 11:30 p.m. I still got to shower and settle down here, give my heart a rest. I'm losing my voice. we've been streaming and doing videos all afternoon here. I want to thank everyone for joining the stream. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your questions. I hope I answered all of them to your satisfaction. If you haven't already, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. That'll keep you in the loop here. Feel free to give us feedback on any of our social networks, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, anything. Give us some feedback. Let us know how you like our program. If there's anything that we don't cover that you would like, make sure you let us know. But I think that's going to be it for tonight. Losing my voice. Going to have to recharge and go again tomorrow. Again, thanks to everyone for the supports. I'm going to go ahead and wish everyone good health and good fortune and sign off for the night. Peace, guys.